everyone, this is Catherine O'Connell and welcome to Lawyer on Air. If you are looking for inspirational stories about women in law, then this is the podcast for you. Join me and my lawyer ladies as we enjoy a glass of wine after a hard day at work and talk about the world of women in law. I hope you will enjoy getting to know these amazing women who I am so proud to share a profession with. I'm glad you're here and I hope you enjoy the show. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode in season 3 of Lawyer on Air. I'm the host of the show, Catherine O'Connell. Today I am joined by Junko Mukoyama. Junko is Senior Corporate Counsel and member of the board at Avaya Japan Ltd, where she has worked the last 18 years since August 2004. Avaya is an American multinational technology company headquartered in Durham, North Carolina. They specialize in cloud communications and workstream collaboration solutions. We've all no doubt used an Avaya teleconferencing system. I've certainly had many used in my previous roles, and it was really the go-to teleconferencing system way before Zoom and other apps that we use now. So at Avaya, Junko is responsible for overseeing all aspects of legal matters in Japan, from preparation of contracts through to handling mergers and acquisitions and dispute resolution. She does this in collaboration with Avaya's business team in Japan, the US, and other countries. Junko's role also sees her advising on business schemes and developments for the Japan market. She prepares and negotiates various business and marketing agreements that are based on worldwide templates, but they are modified for the business and market conditions in Japan. Junko is also involved in compliance and established the compliance program at Avaya Japan to enable management and employees to observe Japanese law, such as anti-corruption law, personal information protection law, subcontractor protection law, and employment law, as well as observance of Avaya global policy. Junko worked with key business members to execute and consummate Avaya's acquisition of the networking business from Nortel and Radvision in Japan. She also assisted with the documentation and regulatory aspects of Avaya Japan for the Chapter 11 procedure filed in Avaya US, specific to the US. Before she joined Avaya in 2004, Junko worked for Yuasa and Hara as a trademark attorney, and she also worked for Nihon Unisys Ltd. She's a member of the Japan Patent Attorney Association and the New York Bar. Junko received her LLB from Chuo University and a Master's of Law from the University of Illinois and Waseda University. Junko is a lifetime learner. She's been studying bankruptcy and intellectual property at a graduate school of law, and she's also published articles in the bankruptcy and IP fields. She's also making time to contribute to a number of organizations as member of the International Association for the Protection of Intellectual Property, the International Trademark Association, the Japan Trademark Association, Japan America Bankruptcy Institute, and INSOL, which is a worldwide federation of national associations for accountants and lawyers who specialize in turnaround and insolvency. Well, in her spare time, she enjoys reading novels and watching movies. Her favorite author is Maha Harada, and she likes musical movies such as The Phantom of the Opera and Les Miserables. Junko also likes running, and she tells me that running keeps her refreshed in her mind as well as her physical condition. Well, that's a super big story about Junko, but really in a nutshell, and we'll go into more details soon. I'm really pleased to bring you Junko as my guest today. Junko, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction, Catherine.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's my great pleasure, and I look forward to speaking with you in detail.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so lovely to see you again just before on the camera. And now we're off camera. But gosh, I'm going to be talking today with you about your career path, the things that have happened along your journey, your study in Japan and the US, your work in law and compliance. And I'd really love you to, if you can, provide some tips and ideas for the next generation of in-house counsel and associates who are coming up the ranks behind you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. Well, we are online, but if we were going to be meeting up in person, Junko, where would we be? Do you have a favorite wine bar or cafe or restaurant that you love? And what would be your choice of beverage from the menu?
Since the weather is good in Japan now, I would like to go to park with you and enjoy greens. And of course, I'd like to go to restaurant. I have a favorite restaurant near to my company, and let's drink red wine there.
What's the name of the place near your company?
Our place is Tameike Sano, near to Tameike Sano Station.
Nice. And they have good red wine.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's go there. That sounds really great. Junko, I recall that you and I first met, maybe it was at one of the ALB Japan Law Awards, maybe 10 years ago?
I don't remember, but I think so too. It was long ago.
It was a long time ago. And after that, we connected obviously several times. We had in-house round table breakfast sessions at different offices. I know Suli Mori from Dow Chemical used to host us. Do you remember all of those activities we used to do before the pandemic?
I enjoyed everything and I learned many from them.
Yes.
And now more than 2 years have passed.
That's
and
right.
Our world is changed totally.
So has. And I remember though, all those round tables, you were always so passionate. You always arrived on time and contributed to the discussions. It was really great to have you. I must host another one sometime soon. Yeah, I loved how you also told us, well, you told me before we recorded that you love that writer, Harada Maha. And I actually came across a review of her book. I think she's a she, yes?
Yes.
Yes. And I read a review of a book called Ikiru Bokura. Have you read that book?
Oh, not yet. Unfortunately. She wrote a lot of books.
Yeah. This book, I just had a little look online, and Ikiru Bokura, that's the name of it. We Are Alive. It sounded like an interesting book. And this person said that it was really straightforward. It talks about some of the real challenges in Japan society right now. And like a lot of Japanese books, it doesn't have a very final ending. It leaves a little bit of gray so that you have your own imagination at the end of the book. So I thought that was very interesting. And I'm looking forward to reading her book. Do you have another recommendation?
I like Canvas of Paradise. It focuses a painting, Dream by Henri Rousseau. It's a story around painting and Rousseau's days and modern days. A woman who studies Rousseau's painting. And I really like it. I like the novel by itself. And by chance, Dream by Henri Rousseau is my favorite painting in Modern Museum in New York.
That is really amazing. Oh, wow. So you like the painting, but also the book is about a dream.
Yes, both. Yes.
Oh, I see. That's really interesting. Wow. Thank you so much. That's now 2 books of this writer that I will go away and read, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll let you know about it later. We're going to go right into your career, but I just always ask my guests about what they thought about when they were a child, what they wanted to be. Do you remember what you wanted to be when you were a child?
I would like to be a professional woman. That time, my mother had been a housewife for her entire life. She never worked. And I didn't think her life was really happy because she complained a lot about her life. And when I was a child, I decided I would like to have an occupation and would like to have a profession and would like to contribute something. I didn't consider specific job because those days, specialized occupation for women were mainly teachers and nurses. But I didn't want to be teacher or a nurse either. I don't remember why now. And sometime when I grow up, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Do you know what made you think about being a lawyer? Did you see somebody who was a lawyer or meet someone, or did you read about people who were a lawyer? What do you remember what triggered you to be a lawyer?
I thought becoming a lawyer means kind of a qualified occupation which doesn't care sex, and I could be professional. For me, lawyer sounds very good occupation. I never regretted so far.
When was that then that you thought about becoming a lawyer and going off to study? Is that in your teenage years? Is that before you're 20, you're thinking about this?
Actually, after 20, I re-entered the legal department again after I graduated literature department. When I was younger, those days, women were not allowed to take the same entrance examination for company. And I didn't want to work an assistant. I would like to have a profession, independent profession, kind of responsibility as a man. And lawyer sounds good. And actually that time I wanted to take Tony examination and I took it. And then I tried to take New York bar examination and I am qualified as both now.
That's right. So you were really at the early stages challenging that men only can be lawyers, or that to do something professional from your early days was quite an interesting and remarkable thing, especially when you say that women were not allowed to do the same exam to enter the company as men did.
Yeah, right. We are only allowed to work as assistant.
And you didn't want to do that. You wanted to be a professional just like everybody else.
Yes.
So after doing your literature, you did law at Chuo University, then you went and did your LLM, and that seems to be both Waseda and University of Illinois. So tell me about the LLM, what you needed to do for that in Japan. And was the Waseda study connected to the Illinois University study?
I took LLM from University of Illinois, Urbana, Champaign at the first.
You did that first. Okay.
Yeah, and I studied intellectual property and also more general law. I had more interest in general company legal field than intellectual property field at that time. And after that, I worked for American law firm as a trainee for a year and returned to Japan. And I joined international law firm as a trademark attorney and moved to legal department for other company. And during that time, I had academic interest in learning, and also I had a little bit difficulty for my professional life in that company. Still, and again, I faced glass ceiling there. I promoted kind of a higher position, but not legal department head. And that time, couple of people or more than couple of people advised me that you must satisfy with that level, because for women it is really great. They said to me. Also, we had a very important negotiation with the parent company, and at that time I thought I must take care of negotiation mainly, but the legal department head at that time told me he would like a younger guy to negotiate for the company, and he encouraged me to support him because my junior would become to be a legal department head in the future. So this experience is very important and necessary to him.
Whoa, so your younger member of the team, the younger guy, was suggested to be the one who negotiated, not you, because that younger guy was going to be destined to be the legal head. And that's what that's what the manager told you.
Yes.
How did you feel?
I was really disappointed and felt painful.
Yeah.
And when recruiter approached me if I have interest in joining the current company, I decided I should move here, current company.
Wow. It's really amazing that that's actually not that long ago that happened, right? You moved to your new company in 2004. So 2004 is only 18 years ago, right? It's not that long ago, but to have somebody quite clearly tell you that, you've done well enough, this is fine, you should be satisfied with this level. Yosh, yosh, right? That's enough. You're right. Stay where you are. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, correct. I think it maybe still happen these days somewhere.
So what's your message then to people, women who hear that message from someone in their surrounding, somebody in the company tells them that? How would you help them to deal with that kind of comment? What would you say?
Believe yourself and believe your future. You face difficulty now, and it sometimes happens, unfortunately. However, Japanese society is changed a lot. Like my mother never worked, but I work very professionally now. It's only one generation. And also, you can improve yourself. Your future must be much better. Believe yourself, believe future. Just make effort, whatever you can now.
Did you talk to anyone at that time to help you? So would you suggest people talk with other people, like an older or more experienced lawyer, and get another opinion? Or, what did you do yourself to get through that difficulty at that time?
Since I suffered similar difficulty repeatedly, it was the biggest one, and it was the reason for which I decided to move to current company. I don't remember the detail, but I consulted with friends, female friends sometimes, and female friends sharing the same idea. They helped me to keep myself. But sometimes even female friends, they may have different idea, like it's society's idea, we must accept something. I try not to consult these kind of thing with such ideas person.
I mean, everyone has a different opinion, and sometimes your female friends can be a little more risk adverse than you, or you just don't know what they're thinking about in their own experience. So it's just information, isn't it? And you can decide to take that information and do something with it or not. But did you have anyone else around that time, like any other mentor or coach? Or do you think that's a good thing to have, a good person to have in your life, is somebody who can mentor you or be a coach for you during these kinds of difficult times?
Actually, I have American female friends, and they are mentors to me. And when I consulted such thing, they encouraged me to go overcome and to take new road. When I went to University of Illinois to study law, and after it, during 1 week working as a trainee, I met somebody and I found a couple of friends from those days. They are women and they are lawyers and they encouraged me all the time. Now I recognize that my American friends who share American culture actually helped me a lot. I remember when I studied at the University of Illinois, I was so surprised. Half of the classroom were women. And when I spoke with friends, I thought I was living their grandmother's generation in the United States, in Japan. Like their grandmother's days, I felt that way.
Wow.
And I totally appreciate my American friends who encouraged me to work continuously and supported my direction.
Oh, that's amazing. So those are the friends that you met when you were at McDermott, Will and
Yes,
Emery?
and University of Illinois.
And
Yes.
University of Illinois. Goodness, wow. And so are you still in touch with them now?
Yes, sometimes email, sometimes like Facebook.
Yes.
Now we are reaching or somebody already retired. We are now we are reaching retirement age, and some of them are hoping to visit Japan for sightseeing because they think Japan is a good place for sightseeing. So I'm happy and waiting for their visiting Japan, and I would like to assist their travel at that time.
That's so good. It'll be really nice for them to come here once the doors open at Narita and people can come back as tourists. How amazing. I'm just thinking of how difficult it must have been for you at those stages to have people say those things. And I'm just thinking how you got through the difficulty with your friends and the US side of things, US people that helped you. Is it different then, the way that law is taught in America, the way that lawyers work in America compared to Japan? What are the big differences that you found?
For me, women's working situation was amazing at the first. And after I joined the current company, I recognized a couple of differences. Because first of all, being a woman doesn't mean anything. For Avaya, I'm proud of that. Our general counsel has been women continuously. And when I joined Avaya, a female lawyer had a male secretary. I was so surprised. And also, legal team member cares families' private things as same as work. In Japan, as you know, traditionally, working means contributed 100% life and paying attention family things more than working requirement is not good, particularly for traditional male-oriented working situation. However, in American company, lawyers, legal department members thinks family life and personal things important at the same level. It is great surprising to me.
So when you are talking about the male secretary, was that in the US for your US
Yes,
side of
of
the
course.
company? Oh, that must have been quite a surprise.
Yeah, it was quite surprising.
And so how did the changes, that kind of thing, did that help change things in Japan for you, the way that you do your work or the way that you saw how you engaged in your work? Did that influence you?
First of all, I'm so happy working for such company. I mean, male secretary for female lawyers, equal opportunity. And I'm proud of working for this company and legal department. Also, I recognize that being a woman doesn't mean anything here. I'm just required being good legal team member, good in-house counsel.
Yes.
And it's really good feeling. Taking responsibility, making effort, it's really good feeling.
You love your job.
Yes.
Wow.
I really like
I love it.
my current job. And also I really like to be part of my company's international legal team.
It sounds like you've got a great team. What do you really enjoy about your work?
Compared to Japanese company, my work is a little bit different. Our parent company decides template for contracts, general privacy policy, everything.
Right.
However, Japan is different law, not many times, but a little bit different for legal requirement. Also, language is different, culture is different.
Yes.
So my role is to support business operation in compliance with Avaya law and for which Avaya policy and Avaya template. At the same time, I have to amend something in compliance with Japanese business requirement, if necessary. And like such combination work, I really like it. One side, I'm kind of gatekeeper for Avaya global compliance and legal principle, but also I have to pay attention Japanese law, Japanese culture, Japanese language sometimes. So it's kind of a good combination for me. Like I feel I'm living culture between Western culture and Japanese culture. I really like Western culture, American culture. The American culture, equal opportunity, a good opportunity for women helps me a lot. My friends, American friends sharing with American culture has helped me a lot. But at the same time, I'm not American. I'm Japanese. I'm educated as normal Japanese educational system. My English is not native, and my culture is based on Japanese culture. Even some part, male-oriented culture, I don't like it totally, but I am Japanese and I like Japanese culture in some part. I would like to live Japanese with understanding and accepting American culture's good point. My work, like represent that idea. I hope I can convey my thought to you well. It's kind of, even complicated for me.
No, I understand it. It's like, I love how you call it combination work, because it's combination work, combination culture, right? That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with two cultures, two kinds of different work. You're learning the American side of things, the way that they have presented the policies or the law, but you're also bringing that into Japan to make it practical to use in Japan. And then you're learning American side of things and also teaching them the Japanese way of doing things as well. So you've got both cultures working every single day.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's what I would like to say.
You have such a broad reach of work, and I know you're not only the senior corporate counsel, you're also a member of the board. So how is your work divided up? Are you spending half and half, or is it some part is on compliance, more at certain times of year, or how are you dividing up your work, Junko?
Oh, I cannot divide my work as planned. Just something come, I take care of it. Something come, I support it. And if two things come, I just make prioritize which things I should do first. Right. My life is like that. I cannot, divide in advance my time.
Because you handle everything yourself, don't you? How do you do it yourself?
When I joined my company, I had a paralegal, as many as other lawyers, and I could ask administrative work, easy legal contract, etc. But sometime Avaya decided to close paralegal position, not only for Japan, but also other countries. Since then, I manage everything by myself. And now,
Yes.
due to development IT, our contract database is for worldwide contracts. I am required to input necessary information in worldwide database.
Right.
And also we have to manage and keep information for each subsidiary. I have to input those data by myself. And it's
Busy.
necessary. I'm not good at, but it's necessary. So I learned a lot.
Yes.
Also, these days I send to DocuSign envelope by myself and actually do a very administrative work too.
How do you handle it? How do you organize your day to do that? Do you just is your day a long working day, or you're just so used to it now doing it yourself that it's quite automatic?
Again, I'm not good at planning in advance, so I just support something which I have to support in order, and sometimes it's very busy. I have to support like 4 or 5 things. That time I have to prioritize the order based on necessity and urgency.
And when you choose one urgent matter, one necessary matter before the other necessary matter or urgent matter, how do you inform the one that you are keeping as the second thing to do? How do you communicate that to those people?
Since I am in-house and I know other employees or a legal team member, I just explain I have to do something currently, urgently. So I will be able to support this by that time. Please wait a little bit or please give me some time, like that.
Right. So you give them a timeline and tell them that you've got the other thing
Yes.
to do. Sometimes when we get really busy, we just do the busy thing and we don't tell the other side and they're waiting for you. So it's really important to communicate that, isn't it?
I totally agree. It's very important. We have to communicate with the business team well.
Exactly. And do you also work with outside counsel to try help you with some of your work? And if you do, how do you deal with the outside counsel?
To be quite honest, we don't ask outside counsel to support us, except only for very important matters like lawsuit, antitrust case, M&A, and for daily work, I provide everything. For outside counsel, like our company, we'd like to outside counsel to understand how operation is proceeded under multinational company. We have to comply instruction or policy decided by parent company. We have to respond Japanese opinion, and we have to respond in English to outside Japan legal team. So I expect outside counsel to understand multinational company culture and both English and Japanese.
I see. And so you are also continuing your study and learning. Is that really important for an in-house legal counsel to keep doing that continual learning, to keep up with the trends in the industry and new law developments?
I think studying law at graduate school helps my work for better support. Since law improves day by day, and particularly I'm only one person for my legal department, improving my professional ability is very important. Also, this academic study is my interest. I think I like studying. Yeah, my dream is after retirement, I would like to enter graduate school of law officially and try to complete dissertation.
What is a dissertation? Is that a PhD?
Yes, PhD.
Oh, and would that be on what topic?
I have interest to treatment of license agreement
Oh,
when licensor or licensee becomes bankrupt. This is
oh,
a kind of area between bankruptcy law and intellectual property law.
yes. I was just going to say, because those are your two passions,
Yes.
and you've found a way to combine the two passions. How,
Yes.
how interesting.
Me too. And I hope I will be able to complete a PhD paper someday.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I love that you've got your future dream happening. And so, for someone who would love to be doing your job, who's listening today, Junko, what kind of advice would you give them to get to the kind of job that you are doing? What should they do?
If somebody would like to be in-house counsel for multinational company, my advice will be, first, at least for my company, a lawyer's qualification is required, whatever country is. My case, I'm not a lawyer qualified in Japan, but I'm a lawyer admitted in the state of New York. It's fine. Any country is fine. Just lawyer's qualification may be required. Second, English ability is required. For multinational company, legal department is one operation. My boss is Singaporean lawyer located in Singapore, and his boss is American lawyer located in America. English communication is required, and I have to convey, report things of my work in Japan to legal team members. As you recognize, my English is not excellent. It's kind of okay level, but I would say English is necessary, but not necessary like interpreter English or very advanced level English. Keeping legal ability and convey those in English is minimum and may satisfy generally. Third, sharing American culture or international culture, whatever. Japanese culture is different from American culture. As long as I work for a multinational company and our headquarters is located in the United States, I must respect and understand American culture at the first. As I said, my policy is, but I'm not American, I'm Japanese, so I try to combine good aspects from my side of two cultures and work for the purpose. Do you think it help?
I do. I think that's really great. So you've got qualification in law. So you don't necessarily have to be a Japanese bengoshi in Japan. You can be another foreign qualification as well to work in Japan. Yes? That's number one.
Yes, I
And
think so.
then,
Of course, it depends on the company's
of
policy.
course, of
I don't
course.
know. Maybe some company requires qualification in
Sure.
Japan.
And I think what you say about English ability, I think that's really marvelous because it doesn't have to be interpreter level. I loved how you said that. It's about, having a minimum that you can communicate your thoughts to the other side,
Yes.
right? Whether it be your clients or to other people in the business. And the third one, having that understanding of different cultures. It's so true because especially if you've got a headquarters in the US and it's in Japan, you are the bridge between those two cultures, I'm sure. When there are people maybe in the Japanese business who don't quite understand the culture, you're able to explain it, and the same vice versa. So those are really great tips. Thank you so much. Tell me then, Junko, about your daily routine. I know you like running and I know that you like the reading and movies. How do you get yourself organized in the day? So from morning through to the evening, what sorts of things are you doing to keep yourself organized? Although you told me you're not a planner, I guess you are still organizing your day. How do you do that?
as a matter of fact, I think I have to organize my life better. Generally, I wake up and check my email and check what is urgent or if urgent case. And I do something like morning housekeeping, preparation, breakfast, laundry, something, and work in the morning, preparation of lunch, and eat lunch, and afternoon work, and night. I enjoy reading novels or watching movies sometimes, just relax. And it's not good, but we are multinational company. Sometimes I have to attend night call or some urgent mail, which I received at night and supposed to respond.
So you have the evening call. So
yeah.
So you'll do a little bit of reading for yourself, but you may need to get back on a phone call with the USA.
Yes, USA and Europe.
And Europe too, I see.
For global, I mean, including US and Europe, Japan need to be kind of very late night, 11 p.m.
Ah, yes. But if you are working late in the evening, do you have a more relaxed schedule the next day, or are you back onto Japan time?
I think I have to be relaxed, but as a matter of fact, I return to Japan time generally.
Right, I see. Wow, okay.
Sometimes I try to off a little bit longer. It's not a good part to support Japan operation under global culture and global timeline.
Yeah, has it been harder to work during the pandemic, or have you found it actually easier to get on with people because you have been already focusing on international culture and working together, so the pandemic didn't have so much impact? How was it for you?
For me, pandemic doesn't have impact so much. Of course, going to the office, seeing people, discuss directly, gives us lots of benefit. But working remotely, I recognize we can work appropriately, and we don't have to ride on very crowded commute train in Tokyo with heavy PC. I recognize, I don't have to go to office for working. It's good merit for me.
It's good that you can do that. Great. I wanted to ask you, is there anything that you do to keep you motivated? So maybe it is your walking, your running, or the activities that you talked about already. Is there anything else that keeps you going?
One thing definitely, seeing and speaking with female friends which share the idea. Unfortunately, under COVID-19 situation, it's difficult for us to have times. But once COVID-19 is over, I would like to see my friends in person again.
Yes.
And for academic study, my dream is complete PhD paper. And after that, I would like to work as a volunteer to support Master of Law degree paper or PhD paper of students who came from outside Japan to study in Japan. I would like to help somebody. I would like to contribute somebody. I think that feeling is my motivation too. Not only for working, I would like to help our business. And also, if I can, I would like to help foreign students studying in Japan for graduate level, high level education.
Wow, that's really great, because that's looking to the future and helping people in that way. Have you got any tips or advice for some of the young lawyers who are just starting their careers?
Again, I would like to convey, believe yourself, believe the future. Even you face difficulty sometimes, you will be better in the future.
That's really good advice. And Junko, is there anything that you've done so far in your life that if you had the chance to do it again, you would do it differently?
Oh, it's quite interesting and a difficult question. Of course, I have a couple of things which I understand I could choose other way, but I cannot do that. So I try not to consider that possibility at all, just to see only future.
Yes, you're very wise. I think it's an interesting question because you can get some interesting answers. So thank you for answering that. Is there anything else then that we haven't covered today that you would like to talk about, or anything that we did talk about, Junko, that you would like to re-emphasize?
I think I'm fine.
You're good?
It's a great opportunity. Thank you for having me,
Fantastic.
Catherine.
Welcome. We haven't quite finished because I have the final six questions. I usually ask a final.
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
Good. No, not at all. That's fine. It's the super 6 questions of that I ask each guest to wind up the interview. And so the first one is just thinking about it. If I was to give you 1,000,000 yen in Japanese cash, I'm not going to, but if I was doing that, where would you spend that? At a favorite shop, or maybe a destination, or something like that? What would you do with 1,000,000 yen?
At this moment, I would like to donate it to Ukraine embassy. Of course.
Yes, Ukraine embassy. Yeah, that's very kind. What is your favorite saying, kotowaza?
Never give up.
Ah, love it. Is that also in Japanese? Is it akiramenai de?
Yeah, that has same meaning, but I don't know if we have a similar saying.
But never give up.
Never give up as a saying, but akiramenai, yes.
Great.
That's the meaning.
Fantastic. Is there someone famous or some celebrity or talent that you would love to meet or have already met?
It's maybe strange. I would like to see Professor Countryman. He is very famous for bankruptcy field in the United States, and his definition of executory contract changes legal analysis, legal history, and which is related with my field very deeply. So if I can, I'd like to see him, and I would like to ask him lots of questions.
You know what you should do is just write to him and say,
okay,
can we have a Zoom call? I'm sure he will say yes. I think sometimes if you talk about never give up, if you go for something, there's no reason why. What's the worst he can do is say no. But what if he says yes? Then you can meet him, at least online.
Thank you very much, Catherine. It's very great advice, and I like the positive idea.
Positive. I would reach out to him and tell him you've been studying this, you're continuing to do the study. In the future, you want to do this PhD. You would really love to speak with him. He would do it, I'm sure.
I know his article, but I don't know if he's still alive, but I will try.
Yes, please try. And then the bonus question is, what is one thing that you are really grateful for right now? One thing that you are so happy that you have in your life right now?
It's very difficult to choose one. I just would like to say I'm healthy, I'm alive, and I have something which I'd like to do. Is it to answer to your question?
Oh, most definitely. Being healthy, being alive, and having something that you want to be able to do. Yes, perfect. Oh, Junko, it's been so great. Thank you so much for coming on Lawyer on Air. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you. You've really shared such inspirational stories, especially from those early days where you challenged what people told you and expected you to be or do. And you've really just burst through the glass ceiling and come through and progressing your life and your career goals. It's really amazing.
Thank you very much having me, Catherine. You are very great host. Thank you very much for summarizing what I'd like to speak.
No, you
it's
did
my pleasure to
you did a fabulous job. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful stories and insights and the advice for other lawyers and people who would love to be doing your work. And so if people want to connect with you, can they do that through LinkedIn, or how can they do that?
I have LinkedIn, but I'm not good at the user. Is it okay to connect through your email address?
Yes, no problem at all. So anyone who would like to contact Junko and talk a little bit more, they can contact me and we'll put that into the show notes. So that's totally fine. I'm happy with that. And so for anybody who is listening, my listeners, please do subscribe to Lawyer On Air. Do like this episode. And if you feel inclined, please drop a short review, because that always helps for this podcast to be heard by more people. You can also go onto my webpage and leave me a voicemail. I love hearing people's voices tell me about the guest and what they enjoyed hearing. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening in. That's all for now. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now. Thank you so much for listening today to this episode of Lawyer on Air. I really hope that you were inspired by the story you heard and that you discovered something new about women in the law. It's my passion to share my stories of amazing legal ladies, so please subscribe to the show so that you don't miss future episodes. And if you can think of even just one person to share this episode with, that would make my day. I would love to connect with you, so jump on over to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter or Insta, where you can find me. The links are in the show notes below. Well, that's all from me today, and I look forward to seeing you right here on the next episode of Lawyer on Air. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now.